There are different ways that we can present and organize data that has been collected. In this video, we're going to look at two specific ways, and that is the frequency table, which we have here in front of us, and then a bar graph, or some people say bar chart. So a frequency table is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a table that has two columns. Those two columns, the first one tells me the categories that we have collected and are looking at. And then the second column tells me how many of each category I have. So in this case, we're looking at the grades A through F. And then the second column tells me, well, how many of those did you have? So A10 means 10 students had A's, B12, 12 students had B's, and so on down the line. This is helpful. It's much better than having a scattered list of all this and trying to figure out what it's telling me. I can see bulk of the students here at the top, ABC, which is good news, and only a few at the bottom with the D's and F's. But some of us like more visual images, so we could also display this in a bar graph. Pretty much the same thing, except it's that visual. So you have a horizontal axis and a vertical axis. The horizontal axis is going to always be our categories. In this case, the A, the B, C, D, F. The vertical axis is going to be the frequency. Okay, so it's going to match up with what we had in our table. So the A, you see the bar over here goes up to 10, and the B, the bar goes up to the 12, and then it's very obvious, just quick look, that C is going to be the most frequently occurring grade. How many? Well, it's a little bit tougher to tell. I have to look at the top of the bar, go over to the frequency axis, that vertical axis, and say, okay, it's between the 14 and 16, it's probably 15. And then it's also very clear from this visual that the D and F, those are really low. There weren't very many of those in comparison to the others. So it's the same information, it's just presented in a slightly different way, and it might depend on who your audience is and what you're trying to look at there. Okay. Here's one more, just to show you. I thought that was kind of a fun problem. Insurance companies base your premiums on risk factors. And one risk factor that they believed existed was actually the color of the car. So they looked at actual police records to find out in total loss collisions of cars, what was the color of the car. Okay, and then they noted that. So blue cars were reported 25 times. Okay, 25 blue cars, total loss in a collision. Green cars, though, 52. Red, white, black, and gray. All right, take that same information and put it on a bar graph. I'm going to put the categories, the colors on the bottom, the horizontal axis. The frequency is always the vertical axis, and it is actually the specific number of these. And sometimes you'll even see, to help us out, which is really nice, they put the actual number right above the bar. So that's really cool. When I can see it that way, then I don't have to look over and guesstimate, especially like this where the frequency is in increments of 5, and this green is somewhere between the 50 and 55. I don't have to guess. They've told me specifically that it's 52 there. So looking at this, green cars appear to be in more accidents, and the gray cars are the safe cars. It's not too surprising, but it is kind of interesting. In other videos, we'll take a look at other ways to display the information.